Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. And today I thought we could do a lovely confidence boosting reading on why people are attracted to you. So I have 3 piles here, and just a reminder about the color thing, because I shuffle these cards to get what the choices should be. I don't like select them, but the color schemes are so similar, and these are 2 dudes, and so just... If you pick a pile and you're like, I don't think this is my pile, just try another one and see if the color was throwing you off or something. So anyways, I have 3 piles here, pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. I'll put your picture up and I'll see you at your piles. Pile number 1, what do people love about you? Well, first of all, this is an immensely talented pile. I kept getting that you guys have some kind of deep knowledge or skill set that people really do find valuable. You have the Virgo card, and you also have the Hermit at the bottom, and Mercury exalts in Virgo, and the Hermit is Virgo. So I feel like there's some kind of skill, technical skill, that you bring to the world. Now you also have an axis going on here, this Virgo Pisces axis, which is all about the material world and the spiritual world. So some of you guys have an immense spiritual practice. Immense might be the wrong word, but just you have a way of ingraining your spirituality into your daily actions. And I can see that coming through in all of these other cards too. It's like this pile really walks their talk here in the world. And you might have like a daily meditation practice. Maybe you go to church regularly, you say your prayers 5 times a day. Whatever this is, people really do notice, and it's more than just skin deep. It's not just a ritual for you. It's something you eat, sleep, and breathe. This is also a pile that will take a hit for someone else if it's the right thing to do. And you're also very strategic when you want to be. You have the Prometheus card here, which is altruism, and I feel like a lot of you guys could work in healthcare, but I feel that this is more a way of being for you. Prometheus helped to create humans, right? So obviously the guy had skills, the guy had knowledge. But when he was told to destroy them, he couldn't. He had a lot of empathy, and he had kindness on them, and he disobeyed Zeus's orders. And so because of that, Zeus took out his anger on him. So there's something here where you guys could be a shield for people who are, here with the Samaritan card, refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. People that maybe get ignored in a system every day, that fall through the cracks of things. You bring attention to those people in some kind of a way. Pisces is isolated places like hospitals, prisons, things that, we would prefer to ignore. This is also far off places as well too. I feel like you guys could be loners to some extent. It's almost like you don't feel like you fit into the world, but that hasn't calloused you in some way. It's actually made you want to be an earth angel. Virgo is a sign of the earth angel. And you also have companion here, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. People really trust you. They trust your judgment. If something, honestly, I'm getting, you know, that picture of like all the Nazis marching, and then there's usually people circle that one guy that's not putting up the salute, and it's like, be this guy. Like, you do not follow a crowd if it doesn't sit well with you. And even if there are immense repercussions, like getting tied to a rock and having a bird peck at your liver for all of eternity, which is what Zeus did to Prometheus, by the way, for disobeying him and saving the people, you would still do it. You would still take the hit. And I feel like maybe sometimes you were advised, Virgos give really good advice. And so I feel like people really do trust your advice. It's very grounded. But again, it also has high principles here with this Pisces energy. What's funny is I'll read one of these. I don't usually take jumpers, and when I was shuffling this, Woman of Light came out, and I was like, I'm not going to take this jumper. And then I got Shakti, which is female power, like it's your feminine side basically, and Legacy of Light. So I just feel like I got trolled by the universe there. So some of you guys have a really funny sense of humor, but maybe it catches people off guard. I also feel like people like your hands, and for some reason, maybe you have soft hands. I don't know. Or like maybe there's also something about your skin that people really like. Because with Pisces people usually have some kind of like shine to their skin, in my opinion. Not in like a weird way. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of you guys, you're outcasts, and you're very observant. People really like how observant you are. You pick up on a pattern like that. And a lot of times, also some of you are really good at music. But a lot of times this Pisces energy like just picks up on a beat. You know what I mean? It can just get into a groove. It's not really like mechanical, but then this Virgo energy is mechanical. So I feel like some of you really could, you could play an instrument. You're like singer-songwriters or something. You're just very creative, but you have a very practical way of expressing that into the world, and it ends up helping a lot of people. So even if you're expressing your deepest emotions, we have Scorpio down at the bottom of the deck here. I feel like you're deep thinkers too. There's so much more to you than meets the eye, and you live your life on principle. So with the Two of Swords, and then this is what people love about you, because you're community builders in some way. It's like you don't care if someone has a lot of money or if someone doesn't have a lot of money. You're not going to treat that person differently. You're going to figure out a way to be of service to that person. Also, this is a beautiful energy. I just feel like you guys might be aesthetically very beautiful. This is also Revati energy when you consider the Mercury. So, and Revati is the sweet, like it's the end of the zodiac. So you're very realized in some kind of way. And you nourish people. You nourish like a community, maybe literally, but spiritually as well too with your knowledge. It's like maybe you don't talk a lot, but when you do, people always walk away with some kind of deeper understanding or insight. And it's not disembodied. It's not airy-fairy or like some really high platitude that's hard to understand. You ground it into why it's important to them. Yeah. People like the way you speak. And this Revati energy is very, very sweet. And it's so community-oriented. A lot of times they give to charity, not just money, but with their time, their energy, their skills, and their knowledge. You guys could be involved in planning community service projects, or I just see someone who gives to a community from a very selfless place. Some of you guys could work with children in foster care. You're very good at explaining things. Pisces is like the public and the masses too. And so there's something about you that serves that. You can be very single-minded. You get stuff done, pile number one. You're not rude about it. Yeah. There's two sides to you too. I feel like the lion and the lamb, you know, and it's like, you know when to use both. It never comes off rude. You're almost like an alien. You're almost like an alien. You know the spiritual phrase, be in the world, but not of the world? That's kind of what I'm getting. You're leaving a legacy of light. And you just have a way of being. Because Shakti power, I'm going to do a reading on your Shakti power soon. But Shakti energy is the divine feminine energy. It's the being energy. You don't have to do anything to engage it. You just are it. I feel like a lot of you guys, through your education, through your knowledge, through developing some kind of skill set, you've developed your mind, which in turn has helped you develop spiritually. A lot of you guys are very well off in the material world, or you're comfortable, and it's through some kind of service-oriented activity, but that has allowed you to blossom spiritually in some kind of way. And you can see the duality of life in a very helpful way. You genuinely have a love for society and for humanity, even if you don't always want to be immersed in it. And and you guys are showing up as a leader, but like a leader by example. And like I said, I feel like you don't see status or things like that. You have a very strong intuition, very strong. And you make tough decisions, or you help people. Oh, that's it. So a lot of you guys work in healthcare and you help people make very tough decisions, and you're really good explainers. And you bring them in, you include them in their decisions, in the decisions that you're making. And that is actually really, really helpful. Some of you guys could be surgeons. This is an energy here. Scorpio is an energy of deep diving. So, and it can also rule cutting. Mars is sharp objects, sharp. Some of you, maybe you like to sew. I feel like you do something very technical with your hands. And maybe if you do one thing, you can do more than one thing technical with your hands, you know? Maybe you play the guitar and you like to sew or embroider, something like that, you know? And then with this Libra Scorpio energy, this is the energy of Vishaka, which is usually very public and can achieve a lot of things. I feel like you guys achieve a lot of things. You're high achievers in one way, but you're so humble about it. You're like a gateway, I feel like, and you possess a lot of knowledge that people just, and you're very aware of like mind-body connection as well too. And perhaps, I feel like you have built yourself up in the material world in some way, but you realize that it didn't satisfy you, and you have become some kind of a spiritual powerhouse in one way or another. You guys are just strong. This is an overall strong kind of a pile. So yeah, you help people make strong decisions so that they can be around for their families, so that you can build some kind of a community. The Ten of Pentacles is really like kind of having it all. And I feel like people feel like because of your input, or maybe they feel like you have it all too, but they want to aspire to be like you and be balanced like you. Something very sustainable. Like, I feel like you know yourself too, and people really do appreciate that. People act like they don't like it when you hold boundaries, but people do appreciate that about you. With the Page of Cups, I feel like you're curious. Have you guys watched Ted Lasso on Apple TV? You totally should. It's the best series of all time. It's so like feel good. But Ted Lasso goes on this whole rant about feeling like he wasn't good enough for the longest time. But then he realized that those people that made him feel like that, they were judgmental and they weren't curious. So he's always saying, be curious, not judgmental. I feel like you are genuinely curious about the things you can't see. Some of you have like a nagging intuition almost. And it brings people together in a community. You guys have strong community energy. And I feel like if you haven't gotten there yet, I just feel like that's a part of the universe's plan for you. A lot of you guys might have an Artha focus where you're supposed to pay your taxes. Like, you're supposed to get really well off in the material world. You're supposed to pay your taxes, and you're supposed to do a lot with community initiatives. And I feel like you guys are on your way to that. People just feel like they vibe with you. Yeah. People see you as someone who takes on a lot of extra burdens for the benefit of the group. Like, maybe you would prefer not to do this, but it's a sacrifice, and sacrifice means to make sacred. So let's read. I think this one's really, really short, so maybe we'll read both of them. If I can find my book. My gosh. I'm obsessed. I'm sorry if you guys don't like it when people read, because I don't usually, but this book is the best thing that's ever happened to me, besides my husband. Okay. Legacy of Light. You are called to bear light, to carry forward the legacy of a spiritual lineage of wisdom and deep service to the earth. You are a part of that spiritual lineage, a belonging that extends through generations past and generations yet to come. Honor the importance of your task and realize that you are a light bearer, that you carry a legacy of consciousness and embodiment of light upon this earth to share for the betterment of future generations. May the ancestors of your lineage bless you with unconditional love and devotion as you carry the light forward now. Blessed be. This oracle says to you that you have connected more powerfully with a source of spiritual guidance and instruction that is helping you fully activate your divine life mission and purpose. It is a confirmation that however you are choosing to live your life is in service to the light, whether it is obviously so to others or not, and that your personal growth and spiritual path are helping the greater human soul evolve. You are acknowledged as a jewel of light upon this earth, an important link in a heavenly chain of divine awakening. This oracle also brings confirmation, if needed, that relationship issues that are arising for you now are not only about your personal healing, but about healing the emotional legacy of your ancestral lines. To do this, you may wish to journal, dance, or meditate, or dedicate a yoga practice to the healing of your ancestral inheritance and ask that your own relationships be assisted through the karmic grace of your ancestors to step into more conscious love now. And then the poem is so cute and small. So it says, I measure time in years, in memories, and good friends. Thanks for helping me to see I can count the special ones on my hand, that I can count on you. You guys, that's so nice. That's so nice. People feel like they can count on you. People feel like you have connected with your spiritual purpose and divine mission into the physical material world. You are like a ball of inspiration. People want to raise their souls up to be like your soul. Because there's something here too where it's like people understand that you have taken some kind of sacrifice in your daily life, in your daily habits, that you're probably, Pisces is a sign of loss and of surrender. And so I feel like, yeah, some of you guys, like you have lost and surrendered in order to gain the knowledge and skill set that you have, but people are noticing it and they're so appreciative. And I also feel like you have people praying for you, pile number one. That was so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Let's read the other one. Okay, Shakti is divine feminine fire. She is the body awakened with light. She is the divine feminine and she is the kundalini, the energetic force that moves through us, triggered by love that leads to enlightenment of our body. With our kundalini coming alive within us, we cannot remain as we once were. I just want to say that I was picking up on Vishaka energy, which leads into Scorpio, but it's at the end of Scorpio and Jesha, and you have Scorpio and Mercury energy here, where you start to receive the divine knowledge of activating your kundalini. So maybe some of you are activating kundalinis. Stop activating kundalinis, guys. It's inappropriate. I'm just kidding. Okay. With our kundalini coming alive within us, we cannot remain as we once were. It is impossible. We may try to lead the same lives, but the same in our relationship patterns, and perhaps even behave properly, but it simply cannot be done. Soon our disguise slips and people wonder, what happened to her? Or what has gotten into him? We are on fire with the divine and we cannot help but misbehave. We are no longer satisfied with trying to be the good child or fearing we are the bad child. We know ourselves instead to be the divine child. That child divine lives fully and with passionate fire, not doing things the way they're supposed to be done, perhaps, but living instead from the heart. Is that not Prometheus? I love it. Our body may ache as we burn through old pain, and sometimes the light within may seem so bright it blinds us for the moment, but that will pass, and the misbehaving will suddenly be seen for what it is. The old rules don't just fit anymore, or just don't fit anymore. You don't plug a globe capable of illuminating the whole world into the bedside reading table or reading lamp without burning down the house. Best to let that light shine as it was meant to, in the big arena. Shakti is making your light grow, beloved. Be prepared to shine brighter. This oracle brings you a message. You are going through energetic shifts in your subtle anatomy. Because your energy body and physical body have already begun to merge with each other, the energetic shifts will affect your physical body too. It is always wise to consult a healthcare practitioner, which most of you are already, but at least some of your physical challenges at the moment, from aches and pains to tiredness, are due to this energetic awakening. Take responsible action as you feel necessary, such as tending to your physical well-being with healthcare that feels supportive. You know what? I feel like you do this for other people. Sure, you guys might be going through energetic shifts and stuff, don't get me wrong, but I think some of you guys help other people through a practical skill you have upgrade their own selves. I was saying you have a really deep, innate, almost channeled understanding of this mind-body kind of connection. I feel like it pesters you. It's not funny. I'm sorry. I feel like it could pester you. And you're like, man, I wish I could learn how to turn this off sometimes. But yeah, this is beautiful, you guys. Thanks for incarnating. This is just absolutely wonderful. I like this energy, I think, the most, where you can just see people not just engaging in their spirituality in a way that feels very airy-fairy, like I was saying. I don't really know any other way to put it, but where you can find a way where the rubber meets the road and you're actually pulling that energy down into the physical space. So I just feel like you have a beautiful mind and a beautiful heart and a beautiful skill set. So anyways, that's what I have for you guys, pile number one. That's why people love you. So if that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye guys. All right, pile number 2. What do people find attractive about you? Well, with this Joan of Arc card, I feel like you guys have very powerful spirits. You have a lot of conviction in the things that you believe in. Joan of Arc followed her faith against all odds. And, we have so many accounts of that. And so I feel like people know that you've proven yourself time and time and time again, very reliably, that you are going to stick to your faith. You stick to your principles, your higher moral self whenever push comes to shove. But what's interesting is we also have the trickster energy here, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. So I feel like you catch people off guard. But it's because you have this very interesting way of viewing the world. We have the energy of a Gandanta point, like written all over this. So I feel like you guys have gone through major upheavals, major tests of your faith that people can really pick up on. You also seem to have a strong connection with the divine. Joan of Arc channeled, I think she said 3 archangels. I don't remember which ones they were, but everybody made fun of her because, she swore that she could hear this divine guidance, but she believed it. And she took that to the places that she needed to go. It's kind of like Moses, the story of Moses, where he had to go tell the Pharaoh, let my people go and all of that. Joan of Arc has a very similar arc to her story. I'll stop. But you guys appreciated that because I feel like you can be a bit cheeky, and this is high priestess energy to me as well. So you are the high priestess. You have a very strong intuition. You know exactly what the divine says. Some of you are mouthpieces for the divine. But also I feel like you're very accomplished for your age, for your stature, for your position in life. It's almost like the voice of a lion coming through a tiny little waif of a girl. It's got that energy to it. Some of you guys could be Ashleisha, which is the Mercury ruled nakshatra at the end of Cancer. That's the energy of the small overcoming the large. And with Joan of Arc, her story, when they finally put her on trial, they brought in all these big wigs with fancy degrees and they were very well learned. And Joan of Arc, just a girl from a farm town, peasant as she was, claiming she was hearing the divine. It's consistently noted that she outsmarted them. She was very careful with her language in certain ways. Of course, they convicted her, but I think they convicted her because, she dressed like a man so she wouldn't be raped. So some of you guys, maybe, you're masters of disguise in whatever, in some way, so that you don't get hurt or something like that, and you can help other people do that. Maybe some of you hide your beauty as well, your external beauty. Oh, I'm getting the quote from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, where Kosta says to Lena that sometimes people play up their outer beauty because they want the world to see it. But sometimes they hide their outer beauty because they want the world to see something else. You guys have a powerful spirituality, a powerful mind. You encourage people to look at the world in a new way. You also have trickster down here, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. I mean, Joan of Arc, she was a hero of the 100 Years' War. I mean, listen to the name of that, the 100 Years' War. The thing was never ending. And, she didn't want France to come under English rulership. So I feel like a lot of you guys are very self-autonomous and you encourage people to be the masters of their own ships. Gemini is an energy that really likes diversity. Like Sagittarius does too, standing opposite of Gemini, but Sagittarius really likes to figure out the highest philosophy because it's the higher mind, whereas Gemini really loves the differences in people and sees the divine wisdom behind that. So I feel like you actually encourage people to be themselves. Some of you guys work with your hand. This is the energy of a tarot card reader. First of all, you're working with your hands, you're working with your mind, you're communicating things. You have this air energy, but then you also have this water, spiritual, intuitive energy. And this, to me, it's the energy of the high priestess and the emperor together with the 2 and the 4 here. And so I feel like you are maybe quiet. You come on quiet. You seem small. You seem like a little waif of a person, possibly young. I feel like people underestimate you. Again, it's this energy of Ashleisha. You guys could have been through some things in your past too that you have really overcome, and it hasn't tainted your soul in some way. You also are very curious people. This was coming out in pile number 1. Well, yeah, you guys are curious with the Page of Pentacles, and you are building. You're building something in the material world here, and whatever it is, you super love it. And Yeah, I feel like you guys are very curious people, especially spiritually speaking. You guys probably read a lot of spiritual texts and things, or you are, like I said, you're divinators, you're working with your cards, your oracles, yeah, that kind of thing. I feel like you encourage people to live somewhat of a different life. And I always, in this deck, I look at the Four of Cups as looking at the higher cup. There's something about you that's hidden, that's like obscured. I feel like you catch people off guard. Like they expect you to be one kind of way and then you're a completely other way. You also, Gemini is the energy to me of yes and. I'm a Gemini in Western, and I know I'm constantly saying to people like, well, it can be this and also this at the same time, because you have the Chariot down here too, which is Cancer energy. So some of you are Purnavisu as well, because that energy, the nakshatra that rules Gemini into Cancer is Purnavisu. Very active minds, needs constant simulation, beautiful, beautiful energy, often very blessed, has the energy of bringing prosperity. But in this case, I feel like it's spiritual prosperity. And they just bounce right back. And they have a lot of inner beauty, which is what I was just saying about... I was just saying that. And it's also the counterpart to Ashleisha, which I was picking up on before. So you guys are pulling in that cat yoni energy. So I feel like, yeah, and the cats are very curious. They're very clean. And, but they can be a little bit detached. Also, I'm getting the energy of Uttara Bhadra, which is a very spiritual energy, but can remain attached. They usually live very successful lives, but in their own way. They determine their own kind of success. So you're very inspiring to people, and they're just drawn to your energy because I feel like you value community, you value communication, you value looking at two sides of the argument. You definitely, I feel like you guys, this is the pile where you're intellectuals, your intellects and your brains, but your hearts too, and your feelers and your intuitive, and you like to push the boundaries in that way as well. So you guys might be drawn to fields like physics and psychology, where it's kind of this new frontier where I feel like they're going to push those fields, especially, and those like it, it's going to push the boundaries of what science can do. We're going to develop, I think, new methods in order to be able to explore these new frontiers. Anyways, yeah, so I feel like you guys could really you probably like astrology or astronomy both. You know what I mean? You have the mind for both. I love this energy. I'm going to stay in it all day. And you guys, you always give your knowledge away too. And you come off as some kind of an authority in something. I think that catches people off guard because, you know, Joan of Arc led armies. She died at, 21, 22? And she led entire armies. And she had some gumption about her. If you look up her quotes, you know, she was constantly saying things like, I'm not afraid, or you're going to need to listen to this, because if not, you know, kind of like Moses, you know, I don't want to have to bring all these plagues upon you, but it's really not up to me, bro. You know, or that's not a direct quote, but maybe it was, I'm not sure. You have this soft card at the bottom. So I feel like you come off kind of soft, but then you're like super hard. You have like a spine of steel, you know? And you see very clearly here. You have a very piercing mind. People like to have conversations with you. They love to have spiritual conversations with you. And then with this child nature, friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. So I just feel like you guys are very much at home in nature, especially maybe around water. You guys like to hang out, and certain people have memories of having conversations with you around water, or they would like to. I don't know why that's coming through, but you know, Uttara Bhadra is the energy of the sea snake. It's a very complex, intuitive energy, but it likes to stay submerged and think about spiritual things. You have very deep, active minds here. And your rising, sweet soul rising, is exactly how I would describe this pile, except for you're not too sweet. Not when you get, you know, not when push comes to shove. You stand up and you have the power of your convictions. And I feel like it's this duality to you that that pulls people in. They're very attracted to it and very intrigued by it. People find you fascinating. Yeah. And funny. You guys might be really funny. You have two queens over here, this Queen of Cups and Queen of Rods, and I do feel like there's a duality to your nature where you're super sweet, soft-spoken. Maybe you're very passive, especially when people first meet you. Like, they just don't think anything. Like, you're very unassuming, you know, in some way. And then there's this Queen of Rods energy where you're very magnetic in some kind of a way. So let's read this sweet soul rising energy. Okay. You may feel lost in your own thoughts and feelings. This is the sweetness of surrender into another world. It's a time to dream, to wonder, not to be clear and sharp right at this precise moment. Okay, let me just stop there. I feel like you have a way of explaining things or looking at things, that curiosity that you bring, which is the true energy of science, by the way. That's how you can tell a real scientist. It's because they know what they're talking about, but you walk away from them feeling like inspired and like the sky is the limit and you have more questions than answers. That's when it's on, that's a sweet spot. And I feel like you guys have that where people walk away with a broader sense of things. They're very curious. They're full of wonder whenever they talk with you. Not to be clear and sharp right at this precise moment. If you have a clear plan, let it become soft and feel your heart open to allowing whatever may be. We might believe that it is through tough action and and dynamic assertiveness that we make our way through the world. Yet sometimes the sweetness of the soul rises, and instead we can flow gently with currents of the cosmic ocean, unsure of where we are headed, but in the safe truth that all waters naturally return to the ocean, where they are all wanting to go eventually anyway. You can use your own efforts to swim to your destination against the current at times, or you can float on the sweet love of your own soul as it enjoys the privilege of getting to know itself as one with the divine. I feel like this pile knows that it is one with the divine, having like a spiritual experience. Like, you know that you're separate from the divine, and you also are very intrigued by duality. There's something about Gemini is the sign where there's a lot of sorrow, but this is the sign in the place in the zodiac where you want to find your soulmate more than anything as well too. And you're coming off in a very feminine energy, but it's also very intriguingly strong. This oracle brings you guidance now. Surrender and flow. This is not the time to assert your will and try to make things happen, no matter how much you may want to or believe that you should. There is something bigger happening, and everything is going to turn out perfectly according to a far larger plan that includes your well-being too, beloved. Sometimes we just have to let go of our expectations about how that bigger plan will be achieved and just let it happen, trusting that it will actually take place even without us striving to make it so. This is one of those times. The whole trusting thing, but then there was messages about, assertiveness, but trusting. Joan of Arc was both of those things, where she trusted the divine guidance that she was getting. She trusted in the bigger picture. Gemini is the energy of the community, and I feel like you trust enough to do your part in the community. You don't need to stand out. You're very humble. This pile is very humble, and it's like you just like to think about things and introduce new ideas out there to people, and in that way, you are leaders through your curiosity and through your intuition, inspiring people to get curious about their inner selves, their spiritual sides, different ways of looking at it. You're never judgmental. You love to hear different people's point of view. I feel like you feel that there's truly a place for everyone. And people will just love that about you. You have a leadership quality to you that is based upon somehow femininity and trust. And it feels like you're just headed to the chariot is about forward movement, and it can be vehicles in water or earth. You're very watery. You might have a lot of water in your chart, especially the end of the water signs where Mercury's prominent, that dual energy. Yeah. Anything else? I really like this energy. Also, we have lover at the bottom here. Great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. I feel like you guys can get your mind on like a topic or something, and you have this contagious curiosity, unbridled appreciation for it, and you say it. You don't talk like an academic that's talking down to people, because Joan of Arc was an energy where she wasn't professionally educated, academically educated, but yet her mind in that courtroom, they kept the people who were putting her on trial, they kept trying to trap her, and her responses were perfect. I highly suggest reading that, by the way. The transcripts, you can read the transcripts, and some parts of that are just really, really interesting. The way that she answered it was just kind of beautiful, and it makes you wonder, if she really was plugged in and I know there's a lot of people that think maybe she had some kind of disorder, but it's kind of crazy what she was able to accomplish. And obviously she is a martyr for her faith. So I feel like you have some kind of loyalty to the spiritual realms. I feel like I'm missing something for this pile. Let me just... Empress, Ace of Wands. Like I said, I'm getting that Ashleisha energy where it's the small overcoming the large, and Ashleisha a lot of times has been through a lot. There's an innocence to this pile as well. And Ashleisha is poison. It's the poison at the end of the tail, and it's the karma of our past lives. But poison can be used for healing purposes. So this is why Ashleisha is one of those energies, especially for women, that it can go either way. It can be used as a poison or it can be used as a healer. But in order to do that, in order to become the healing element of that, you need a guru. Ashleisha, more than any other place in the zodiac, is encouraged to find a guru, a teacher, a leader, in order to make sure that because they usually have immense occult powers. So I feel like you have some kind of immense occult powers. But I also feel like this is a pile that despite things that you've been through, you actually have grown and you've become this. I'm seeing the Empress, the High Priestess, and the Emperor energy. This is a powerhouse of energy here. But you come in such a small, unassuming package. There's something about you that's like, that person wouldn't lead an army. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean that in like a condescending way at all. Yeah. And I feel like your sacrifices are noticed, though. The sacrifices that you make in order to kind of push people along. And there is something about you that is kind of unattached. You're all for the group, but you kind of also remain unattached, ethereal, mysterious. Also, this to me, I'm kind of getting a Marilyn Monroe energy. Like, people see you. How am I trying to say this? Marilyn Monroe had Gemini energy. She also had Pisces energy. So is Angelina Jolie. And I'm kind of getting like the two of these together. It's a very potent sort of an energy, but it's also like there's something for everybody there, There's something for somebody to pick up on that's going to be very interesting and intriguing. Gemini and Pisces to me are very curious signs. They're childlike signs to me as well too. And I'm just kind of getting that. You encourage people to transcend their regular, ordinary life. What was I missing about this pile? Wheel of Fortune, you make the difference for people. Just people watching you and observing the way that you are and the way that you think about things helps them push through their own karma, helps them trust the divine. This is the energy of Saturn and Jupiter. And I was just I've been reading a lot about Saturn and Jupiter, especially together. And, it's like you bring a certain optimism, curiosity, very lighthearted energy, while at the same time encouraging people to push through their karmic blocks, to face the hard stuff. This is not a toxic positivity pile. Let's just put it that way. You're like, yeah, get in there, take a look at that. You know what I mean? And that's what changes people's destiny at the end of the day. But it feels very detached. It's almost just from people watching you, hearing you. People love to have conversations with you. So that's what I have for you guys, pile number 2. This was a lovely, lovely energy. And if that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys. Okay, pile number 3. This is such a beautiful energy. Please adopt me. I'm in my 30s, but it's still fine and not weird at all. You guys have such a beautiful energy and it's so calm here. And I feel like you are leaders in some way. You have emperor energy coming out. So you're cultured. You have a really beautiful view on the world in some way. And it's through your own experiences. I feel like you guys are empathetic, but it's not like you wear your heart on your sleeve. You're empathetic, but you have a shell like Cancer here. And I feel like you also, it's like you set the tone in a place and you are the leader of that space, but you also care about other people and you work through negotiations. I feel like you're really good with your words. There's such a balanced energy here too between masculine and feminine sides. And if you are a male watching this, I'm just saying what I know about Cancer. And this could apply to you if you are a female as well. But they say about Cancer men in a lot of astrological literature that Cancer men can actually have it all by the time they go through their lives, because they are naturally emotional and the world kind of hardens them, right, with that shell, but that they actually can grow into that strength. And then they've always have that very emotional side where a lot of men have to work on that more emotional side, but you kind of have it and it makes you just a very loving, empathetic leader. But there's so much strength here. There's also a lot of the Jade Emperor is very organized, like rules over organization. And the Jade Emperor, I think, was eventually appointed leader over the heavens, kind of like the heavenly bureaucrat, if you will, because he was just so trusted. So I think people just really trust you. There's a space here and it feels homey. With the Cancer card, it feels homey. Even if this is like your family, you're really appreciated in that space. You also have a passion for a journey of personal empowerment. You help people overcome their issues. You have the Rescuer card at the bottom of the deck, provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. And I feel like with this buoy, like there's the hole in the heart. So, maybe it's at the expense of yourself, or some of you could have, Ashwini in your chart. Ashwini is the divine healers to the gods, and if you do have that energy, which is opposite energy, so you could have Chitra or Swati that can oppose Ashwini energy, so you could have any of those energies in your chart, and it would be important to know where that is, because that it costs you. It drains you a little to be this way, but you still do it, and so it's just important. I'm just saying this to you, like it's important for you to make sure that you're rejuvenating yourself. I love that you have this man of earth, woman of sky. We're going to read this in a little bit, but that's what I'm saying. There's so much balanced energy here. Libra is the sign of balance. And you'll notice people with signs in Libra, the feminines can be a little bit more masculine. The masculines can be a little bit more feminine. And somehow here, this is all blending together to make you just a really potent leader. I feel like you're calm. And you make very calm decisions. And with the Six of Pentacles over here, you give from a place of superiority. So Cancer is usually very smart. Jupiter exalts in Cancer, so a lot of you guys could be healers. Libra is definitely a very intelligent sign. So I just feel like, you guys are givers and helps to free people in some way. There's just a lot of grounded, beautiful energy here. I'm just getting like some of you come down from like a perch to help people. People really care about the things that you say. They definitely do. It feels like you help open people up to the possibilities, that you help people expand in some way. You help people possibly plan things too. The Swan, we're going to read this, but I'm pretty sure this is like the Mahatma card. This is the Great Soul card. And swans obviously are so elegant. And so this is just, I feel like I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. Besides my cat meowing in the background, I feel like I'm just meandering, like floating down a peaceful river, And you guys have had a lot of victories and success, and I feel like a lot of people try to come for your energy a lot, but you are able to defend your place. Haters gonna hate, you know what I mean? But you guys are showing up as very, very successful. This is a Cancer card as well with the moon energy. Lots of moon energy. Maybe some of you guys have a Libra moon, which is lovely. So you are very diplomatic, very beautiful. Libra is a Venus-ruled sign and has a way of making things beautiful. You could help people make their homes beautiful, their spaces beautiful, their I don't know why I wanted to say digestion. There's also some kind of network here. So yeah, with this energy, it's very stable. This is the young king on the move, and you guys could travel a lot. But there's the 10 of Pentacles. This is a very stable energy, super, super stable. So we also have the Goddess card, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. And I feel like that's just like feminine energy, because I feel like a lot of you probably are masculines here. There's a balance, because you've mastered masculine and feminine energy coming together, because it's like you're a very strong container, but you're also very loving, but also you don't want to come for you. Okay, so let's read the Swan. All right. Gliding with grace, nothing is withheld from this beautiful soul. It can discern what is genuine, authentic, loving, and what is from the ego parading. Even though the most impressive words or gestures, why can't I read today? Even through the most impressive words or gestures, the soul can sense the holding within of a core of fearful separation from the divine. With grace, it allows all to be and moves amongst this world with inspiring light and grace. Paramahansa, Great Swan, the soul that moves the souls of others, is reaching to you now. The guru, the teacher, the light, the love, that is all. You are blessed by sacred divine relationship with the essence of love itself that adores you and wants only for you to be free. Oh, you guys are great souls. I really do feel like with that. You really are rescuers. This victim energy too prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. And then the shapeshifter, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness and the ability to see the potential in everything. You guys, you see the potential in everything. And there's something about your stability and your balance, very balanced. I keep saying that, but I'm going to keep saying it. That, look, you have mystic. That just helps people free things up. You know what? I almost feel like that does so much of the work. Like make people feel comfortable and safe and secure and heard and listened to. And then a lot of it just kind of takes care of itself. You're a master at that. It's like Tai Chi. It's almost like you come in Cancer always comes at things from the side. It's almost like you just come at something from the side and get something out of the way, and then like, you know, doctors are always saying the body heals itself. You just got to get something out of the way, the body heals itself. All I do is, you know, I go in there with my little scalpel and I take this out, and then it'll heal itself. It's like you trust the divine and you can see the blockages in people. Even if it's like in a business sense or something. I like this pile a lot. Okay. This oracle reaches to you now, indicating that you are held within the grace of a great soul, a teacher of the heart, of the spirit, and there is endless light bestowed upon you for protection. Your path ahead is assured. Soon you will be shifting from hope to a sense of inevitability in your attainment of the spiritual goals closest to your heart. Be with your practice of love through meditation, yoga, kindness, nature, dancing, singing, whatever speaks to your heart, and know that you are one with the divine, and it's only a matter of time before you realize it. I think I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I feel so good in this energy, so, okay. And then I wanted to read this Man of Earth, Woman of Sky. I don't know why, but I just heard Eastern Body, Western Mind, that book, so maybe some of you guys like that. I don't know. I see myself in you and you in me. We may seem to be so different and sometimes yet so similar. Even beyond this, I know deep within that we are one. I can lose myself in your light and receive your light with my body. I can witness the darkness of your shadow and enter into it with my compassion. I can find the divine in our connection, letting go of what I thought was. I can be broken apart to become as one with you, even only for a second, and I know the divine more intimately than ever before. Our passion leads us to each other, and in each other we find our true selves. This oracle brings you a message of sacred relationship that leads to divine understanding and experience. You are being opened up to the sacred relationship, either in your current relationship or one that is on its way to you now, in a human relationship and in divine relationship with the heavenly beloved. Know that you are worthy of it and keep a light of gentle hope and respect kindling in your heart as you anticipate the union with your beloved. Know that even when it is dark, when it challenges you, there is sacredness unfolding. The love of the divine wants to reach us not only in our happiness, but also perhaps more so in our darkest hour. Let it reach for you through your relatedness with another, and do not be afraid to be broken and opened, for in that cracking of what you thought you were, you shall begin to know what you are, which is heaven on earth. That is so sweet. Remember that song, or not song, remember the movie, I think it's called The Swan Princess, but there was like a girl that was a swan. I don't know. I really don't remember much about that movie, but maybe there's themes in that movie. There's an understanding of sacred relationship. And with this Emperor energy, I didn't catch this before, but this is, you have all cardinal signs here. So you guys actually, you're very sweet and you're very loving, but you're go-getters and you initiate things and you push through things. Pushing through blockages is like a big thing, and you're leaders in that. You really know yourself, but you understand yourself to be reflected back to you through your relationships. This is very important for men because they say that about, like the feminine, it's kind of like Tafiti. Like if the women in your life are showing up like Tafiti, you kind of have to look at yourself, sort of a thing, because there's that duality there. But you seem to understand the sacredness of relationship, the sacredness of mirroring. You really do see yourself as one in all things. That's what Adyashanti says. He says that's a state of being and enlightenment where I'm just sitting here, but I know that like I'm this deck of cards too somehow. And I feel like you're always a student. You're always learning. I like this pile a lot. Very balanced. I feel like your energy is just nice. I can't imagine why people wouldn't love you. This pile, it would have been a lot easier to name all the reasons why people wouldn't love you, and there would be 0 of those reasons. Yeah, you guys are okay. So Cancer as well, it's like the stage in the soul's journey where it starts to get enmeshed in the material world. So I feel like you might work with souls who are uncomfortable in the material world for whatever reason. And also you guys could be, you could help people manifest like abundance and luxury, because these both deal with luxury, but the way that you deal with it is very nice and balanced. It's not greedy. Swati can be greedy, but I feel like this is actually a very, very nice energy. I don't want to end this reading. So anyways, I'm going to, though, this is a lovely, have a good day. If that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys.